In the digital frontier of cryptocurrency, fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye. But beneath the surface of this volatile gold rush, a darker current flows. This isn't just about market swings or bad investments. This is about deception. A new breed of criminal has emerged, operating from the shadows of the blockchain, where the lines between innovation and fraud are dangerously blurred. From brazen rug pulls to sophisticated DeFi exploits, the crime never ends. They're chasing ghosts in the machine, and the trail of devastation leads back to ordinary people who dared to dream of a different future. It starts with a promise of life-changing wealth, of getting in on the ground floor of the next big thing. In late 2021, the world was gripped by the phenomenon of Netflix's Squid Game asterisk. As the show's popularity exploded, a new cryptocurrency appeared, seemingly out of nowhere, the Squid token. Its marketing was brilliant, leveraging the global hype with a play-to-earn game that mirrored the show's deadly challenges. The price skyrocketed over 230,000% in just a few days. Social media was electric. Influencers touted it as the next Dogecoin. Investors, caught in a wave of FOMO fear of missing out, poured their money in, watching their small stakes seemingly multiply into fortunes on screen. But there was a catch, a fatal flaw hidden in the code. Investors could buy the Squid token, but they couldn't sell it. The creators had built a digital trap. Then, on November 1st, the final act played out. The anonymous developers cashed out, draining the project's liquidity pool and making off with an estimated $3.3 million. The token's value plummeted to zero in less than 5 minutes. It was a classic rug pull, a term that has become all too common in the crypto space. The game was over before it even began, and for thousands of investors, the prize was financial ruin. The Squid token was a flash in the pan, but other schemes played the long game. SafeMoon was one of the most visible projects of the 2021 bull run. It wasn't just a token, it was a movement. Its leaders, Kyle Nagy, Braden John Caroni, and Thomas Smith, presented themselves as visionaries, building a new financial ecosystem. They cultivated a massive Gunt-like following they called the SafeMoon Army. Their slogan was simple and seductive: safely to the moon. They promised that a unique fee structure would reward long-term holders, making everyone rich if they just held on. But federal prosecutors allege it was a lie from the start. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged the executives with orchestrating a massive fraudulent scheme. While they publicly claimed their own holdings were locked and couldn't be sold, they were allegedly dipping into the project's liquidity pools, siphoning off over $200 million for themselves. They used the stolen funds to buy McLaren sports cars, luxury homes, and extravagant travel. They weren't building a new financial system. They were funding a lavish lifestyle with their investors' money. The SafeMoon Army was left holding near-worthless tokens, their dreams of reaching the moon crashing back down to Earth. These high-profile cases are just the tip of the iceberg in the world of decentralized finance. Or DeFi, a landscape littered with the carcasses of abandoned projects and drained liquidity pools. The narrative is always the same: a charismatic team, revolutionary promise, and an anonymous exit that leaves a trail of digital wreckage. So how do they keep getting away with it? We used to think of crypto crime as the domain of elite hackers, shadowy figures breaking through complex firewalls. But a new trend reveals a more insidious truth. The modern crypto scammer doesn't need to be a coding genius anymore. They just need to be a good marketer. What we're seeing is a fundamental shift. The barrier to entry for creating a cryptocurrency is incredibly low. You can generate a new token in minutes. The real work, the real crime, is in the social engineering. It's about building a community, creating hype, and manufacturing trust where none should exist. They use Telegram, Discord, Twitter, and TikTok to create echo chambers where skepticism is shouted down and every price dip is framed as a buying opportunity. They weaponize FOMO. The technology is new, but the psychology is as old as crime itself. It's a high-tech version of a classic Ponzi scheme. These scammers create an illusion of legitimacy. They might pay for audits from little-known firms, get listed on obscure exchanges, or pay celebrities for a quick promotional tweet. Each step adds a veneer of credibility, drawing in more and more unsuspecting investors who believe they're doing their due diligence. But but they're just following a carefully laid trail of breadcrumbs. And the law is struggling to keep up. From a U.S. legal perspective, we're in a gray zone. It's a new token, a security, a commodity, or something else entirely. The SEC says many are unregistered securities, which is why they're pursuing cases like SafeMoon. But the process is slow and jurisdictional challenges are immense. These developers are often anonymous, operating across international borders using mixers and privacy coins to obscure the flow of funds. By the time law enforcement can build a case, the scammers have vanished, along with the money. Now we're essentially trying to apply 20th century laws to 21st century crime, and the criminals are exploiting that gap. It's a global game of whack-a-mole, and right now, the moles are winning. As the season of crypto scams draws to a close and the market winter sets in, it's easy to dismiss the casualties as gamblers who lost a bet. But that narrative misses the point. The journey isn't over for those left behind. The numbers on the screen may have been virtual, a fleeting collection of pixels and code, but the victims are real. These are people who invested their life savings, their children's college funds, their hopes for a more secure future. They weren't just buying a token. They were buying into a story of empowerment, a chance to get ahead in a system that often feels rigged against them. The psychological toll is immense. Victims report feelings of shame, isolation, and profound betrayal. They were part of a community, an army, that turned out to be a firing squad. When they look for help, they often find none. Local police are ill-equipped to handle blockchain forensics and the sums of money, while life-changing for the individual can be too small for federal agencies to prioritize. They are left alone to chase the ghosts of their lost fortunes. This new digital frontier was supposed to be about decentralization and transparency, but in the wrong hands it has become a powerful tool for deception. As we continue to navigate this world, we must remember that behind every get-rich-quick promise, there's a risk. And for every winner, there are countless victims whose stories are buried in the blockchain, permanent, immutable record of a crime with no easy justice.